Once upon a time in a far-off kingdom, there was a young princess who was the most beautiful girl in the land. But she had an unfortunate habit of looking down on others. She would sneer at the poor and laugh at those less fortunate than her. And even though she had everything she could ever want, she was never satisfied. One day, while the princess was strolling through the gardens of the palace, she came across an old hut. Curiosity got the better of her, and she walked up to the door and knocked. A gruff voice called out from inside. "Who's there?" "It's just me," replied the princess. "A little bird who flew in through the window and now can't get back out again." The princess thought this was very funny and laughed loudly. "Oh, how silly of me," she said. "I thought it was a real bird." Then she turned and walked away, leaving the small bird trapped inside the hut. The princess continued on her way until she came across a beautiful rose garden. She had never seen anything like it before. Roses of all colors imaginable were blooming in the garden, and their fragrance filled the air. In the middle of the garden stood an old man with a long white beard. He was watering the roses and humming a happy tune. "Good day," said the princess. "These are the most beautiful roses I have ever seen. How did you manage to grow them?" "It is not difficult," replied the old man. "If you treat the seeds with care, they will grow into beautiful flowers. But do not be fooled by their beauty, for they have thorns that can prick you." "I see," said the princess. "Can you give me a rose?" The old man nodded and picked one out for her. "Here you are, my child. But remember what I told you. Do not be fooled by their beauty." The princess thanked him and walked away, holding the rose close to her. She continued on until she came across a clearing in the forest. In the middle of the clearing stood a magnificent castle made of white marble. It was the most beautiful building the princess had ever seen. As she approached the castle, she noticed that the gates were closed, and there was no sign of life anywhere. The princess walked around the castle until she came across a small window. She looked inside and saw a grand hall with a large table in the middle. On the table was a single rose, and beside it stood a tall, handsome man. He was so beautiful that the princess gasped in surprise. The man turned around and saw the princess standing at the window. He smiled at her and beckoned with his finger for her to come inside. The princess hesitated for a moment, then walked through the door and into the room. "Welcome," said the man. "I am the Beast, and this is my castle. I have been waiting for you." The princess was stunned. She had never seen anyone like the Beast before. He was so handsome and charming, and yet he was also scary and dangerous. The princess tried to speak, but no words came out. The Beast walked up to her and took her hand. "Do not be afraid," he said. "I mean you no harm." The princess looked into the Beast's eyes and saw that he was kind and gentle. She felt a strange connection with him and knew that he was the one she was meant to be with. The Beast led the princess to a throne and sat down beside her. "I have been waiting for you for a long time," he said. "I have been cursed by an evil witch, and only a princess who loves me for who I am can break the curse." The princess looked at the Beast and knew that he was the one she loved. She had never felt this way about anyone else. "I love you," she whispered. The Beast's face lit up with joy. "You mean it?" he asked. "Yes," replied the princess. "I love you." The Beast leaned in and kissed her gently. The princess felt a surge of happiness. She had never felt anything like it before. As they sat there embracing each other, the princess noticed something strange. The Beast's form was beginning to change. His fur was disappearing and his claws were shrinking. He was turning into a man. The princess watched in amazement as the Beast transformed before her eyes. When he was finished, he stood up and turned to her. The man was even more handsome than the Beast had been. "I am free," he said with a smile. "The curse has been broken." The princess ran into his arms and hugged him tightly. I am so happy for you, she said. I love you so much. The man kissed her passionately. I love you too, he whispered, more than anything in the world. They spent the rest of the day together, exploring the castle and talking for hours. The princess had never felt this way about anyone else. She knew that she had found her true love. As the sun began to set, the couple walked out onto the balcony and looked up at the stars. I can't believe that I am in love with a monster, said the princess, laughing. Me neither, replied the beast. But I am glad that we found each other. They stood there in silence for a moment, enjoying each other's company. Then the beast turned to the princess and asked, Will you marry me? The princess's eyes widened in surprise. Of course I will, she whispered. I love you, beast. The beast smiled and pulled her close. I love you too, he whispered, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. As the years went by, the princess and the beast grew old together. They had children and grandchildren, and they all lived happily ever after in their enchanted castle. The princess never forgot the first time she had met the beast. Now let me ask you, have you ever judged someone by their appearance? If so, what did you learn from that experience? Share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories.